We are here at the second day of IBC 2022 with Neil Maycock, the CMO of Grass Valley. How are you, Neil?
Well, enjoying being back at IBC after 3 years. It's like the 3 years never happened, but it's really good to be back.
And we're feeling a great energy of all the visitors and customers saying it's good back to be again in Amsterdam.
Absolutely. The people queuing to get in on the first day was a great sign. The halls are full. Our booth's been so busy. Yeah, you can definitely feel the energy, and there's some pent-up demand for being back at a trade show for sure.
Neil, as a professional trade magazine, I have 22 years in this industry, and I know you since probably times, even Chiron, and you passed in this whole transformation process with Grass Valley, Snell, inside Belden Group, and right now with Black Dragon. How is this new change for you as a company?
So, Grass Valley grew a lot under Belden ownership. I came in through one of the many acquisitions. It's created a business with a great talent pool, so great product portfolio, but also the people and the knowledge is fantastic. Grass Valley's really transforming as a business, and what I observe is that with the new ownership of Black Dragon, it has a much more entrepreneurial feel. Black Dragon's a private equity company, but one of the things they will say that differentiates them, and I have to agree with this, is that the members of Black Dragon have all owned or operated businesses in the sector, so they understand at a level that maybe a pure financial institution doesn't. So it's really good working with them, but the transformation we're doing, the creation of a software platform, the agility that Grass Valley needs to change as a business, we're much freer to do that as under a private equity ownership, and with an ownership like Black Dragon that really believes in our strategy and vision.
Mm-hmm. I was in your press conference seeing the new solutions, and we noticed Grass Valley is very keen to the AMP strategy and to cloud and services. And this is a big change in the industry.
It's a huge change, but it's also not a change that's happening overnight. So a key part of our message and strategy is that the strength of Grass Valley is that we have our extensive traditional product portfolio, so cameras, switches, physical devices. We have this innovative cloud-native platform, but we've linked it all together because the transition of the industry and individual customers will take time. SDI will be around for a while. IP will be around for a while. People aren't just going to flip their whole operation to cloud overnight. Maybe some will, but as an industry, the whole industry won't move. So we feel we're ideally positioned to help customers implement a migration that fits their business requirements, and they don't have to have some big bang flip over. So huge transformation, but we're anticipating it's going to be a long one.
You are one of the only companies in this industry that has the full complete end-to-end solution at this moment. So at the same time, it's a big challenge to work with the current customers in the transition to hybrid and cloud.
Well, we have a great portfolio, but even at Grass Valley, I wouldn't say we have a complete portfolio. So another key part of our strategy is opening AMP up to other manufacturers. We don't make intercom, we don't do graphics. So bringing in partners will allow a complete a live production to be done. You can't do a live production without intercom. So if we just kept this as a little Grass Valley bubble, then you're compromising that ability to move a full live production to the cloud. So the Alliance Partnership Program is really critical, and opening AMP up to any company, a competitor, we don't mind, because this will only work if you can create complete solutions in the cloud or hybrid.
And when you bring Andrew Cross as a CEO, he's the guy that creates the NDI strategy also.
Of course. And I think, NDI massively successful. AMP is a little bit of a different model, so we're opening up the platform and there's no licensing involved. So companies can come and be on the platform for free. And that's a key differentiation. But I think what Andrew did with NDI, and you look at the hundreds of millions of end user adoption points of that, is incredible. If we can achieve that with AMP, that'll be amazing.
NDI was completely disruptive at that time.
Yeah, I often hear people saying, sort of kind of positioning there was this fight between, say, 2110 and NDI, but actually they're both IP, they can share the same infrastructure and they fit different applications. So, Andrew would argue that, some of this view of conflict was actually not really understanding that actually they can all quite happily coexist, and you use NDI where NDI works well and you would use 2110. They actually do different jobs. So, but no doubt some disruption for sure, and cloud is disrupting the industry, and AMP is part of that disruption.
Mm-hmm. Talking about IBC and NAB, a lot of customers say they're preferring to develop small booths, a small presence during the trade shows, especially this year, and we notice Grass Valley growing and growing and growing.
Well,
what do you think will be the future of the regular trade shows?
So what became apparent during the pandemic is that you can do a level of customer engagement digitally, and we learned a lot, and we did some really good things online. But what was also apparent is that the trade shows are massively efficient. The amount of people that you can see in one place in 3-4 days, you just can't recreate that virtually efficiently. So we recognize that. In terms of the booth sizes and things, actually, if you look at the Grass Valley booth, it's probably smaller, but it's definitely smaller than we would have had in the past, the actual Grass Valley section. We can build it a lot quicker because so much of it is virtualized now. We were finished 2 days before the show started, which would never have happened in the past.
No.
And the size of our booth here is because we brought 14 alliance partners onto the booth and for me that aspect may grow with Grass Valley, because if we are going to make this open AMP a reality, we need to demonstrate to the industry it's really open, and we need partners on here explaining how it's working well for them, and it's not just a Grass Valley story anymore. So I think a lot of the booths will become simpler. Customers used to use the trade show as a proof point to come and see something, whether it really worked or not. Now that's less so. They want to meet, they want to talk, they want to listen to thought leadership. Actually, if you want to prove a product works, then you run a POC in your facility these days, much less come and see it working on a trade show booth. So they're changing, but we still see them as a critical part of our customer engagement strategy.
How is the feedback for you during this IBC show?
Well, I'm very happy with the level of attendance. I heard from IBC that on day one, the attendance was about 70% of 2019 day one, which is
that's pretty good.
That's good. And what IBC have done well and made just the right call is that the actual floor space of the show is around, I think, 70% of what it was in 2019. So the show feels very much just as busy as pre-pandemic, even though it's a bit smaller. So I think they made that call really well, and that's a positive. Feedback, so far I've been shutting a lot of meetings, not spoken to a lot of people, but the feedback I get from my eyes of our booth constantly being full for now the second day in a row is as a marketing person, that's what I want to see.
All right, Neil. Thank you for your time. Thank you for receiving us here at IBC.
Thank you
I wish
very
you
much.
a great rest of the event.
Thank you.